Welcome back to this new Pixel Array tutorial, and today we want to create a sunset field. Let's go. Okay, here we are in a fresh Blender scene, and yeah, let's import our stuff which we need today. So let's start here with a tree. So we have to go to the Beech Tree folder and open up this file, and here is our tree. I think when we're going to the materials, we will see that the textures are not there as always. We have to go to File, External Data, and find missing files. Select this folder where all the stuff is inside. You have to download each texture separately. It's not a zip file, so yeah, let's press on Find Missing Files, and then we should see that everything is fine. One little thing is when you're zooming in here to the leaves, we have to change here something. Let's go into the shading, and we want to create the scene in Eevee, and to do this we have to change this here to Eevee so we can see here these settings, and then we want to go to the blend mode, which is alpha clip. Now we can see that we have this cool alpha channel, and we want to use the shadow mode to alpha hashed. Let's select this English Ivy and Beech Tree so we have this together here. Now let's press Ctrl and C, and we want to go into the new file, Ctrl V, and there is our tree now. Maybe let's put this one here inside and rename this to tree. I want to save this scene, then we can import the other stuff here. So want to use here this old snack thing, and let's open this scene up, and yeah, here is the texture missing as well. So external data, find missing files, and let's see, that is looking better here, and copy. And now we can go back here into our scene, paste this back. Maybe let's scale this thing a little bit up. So something like 2 in the X. Okay, that's good. Now let's put this one here as in a collection as well, which is here dead tree. That's cool. Now we want to create a landscape, so let's delete the cube, create this one with a mesh landscape. If you don't have the landscapes enabled, you can go here into the add-ons and search here for landscape and enable this one here. Okay, let's go to landscape, and we want to change here the operator presets, and let's go here into the operator presets, and we want to select here mountain 1. Okay, we can leave everything like it is. And now we want to go here into the settings and change this one to 70 by 40 by 1.2. And let's offset this one here in the Y to 20. Now it's time to bring in the grass textures, and I want to put this on a plane because yeah, I don't want to create so much geometry. And we can fake these grass a little bit with planes. So let's start here with a plane, and I want to change the rotation here to 90. And now let's go here into the shading, and we want to use here 2 different texture PBR sets from textures.com. So let's go here to material, grass 1. Want to use the principle, the Node Wrangler plugin. Yeah, as always, go to the preferences, search for Wrangler, and enable this one. And now you can press here on Add Principle Setup, or select this one and Control Shift and T. And now we want to use the Grass 11 from textures.com. I will put a link into the description. Yeah, let's select everything except the height map, alpha map. I think we should import this here. again. So let's duplicate this one, put this down, and we want to select here now the alpha one, and then we can put this one here in from the color into the alpha. And now we have to go here into the options again and go to alpha hashed and the shadow map to alpha hashed as well. Okay, let's rename this one here to grass 1. Want to duplicate this again. Let's hide the first one and 2. Now we can deselect here this the material, and let's create a new one, which will be material grass 2. Same thing again, Shift T, and we want to use now the grass 15. Select everything and okay. Duplicate this one, select the alpha map and put this one here inside alpha hashed and alpha hashed. Now we have our 2 grass things here going on, and now let's put the whole stuff into a collection, which will be our underscore grass. Let's hide this for now. Now we want to put all the grass stuff on our landscape. To do this, let's duplicate this landscape here. Let's rename this one to GN grass because we want to use some geometry nodes here. So let's jump into the geometry nodes, new one, GN and grass. So what we need today is distribute points on faces. We need a collection info, and we need instance on points. Okay, now let's connect this one here. We can cut this connection. We need the geometry here into the mesh. Put the points into the points and the instance to the geometry, and let's select here our grass. Let's put this here into the instances. And now we can see that's a little bit stretched here, everything. And to change this, we have to see that our that our landscape is a little bit stretched. And to optimize this, we can go here into the we can select here this GN grass and go to object, apply all transforms, and now we can see that everything is here on it, but yeah, it's a little bit heavy. So yeah, let's change this here a little bit. Maybe let's go here to preview. As you can see, it's a really high amount, so let's turn this a little bit down, so it's really really much going on here. So first we have to, maybe let's hide here now the landscape. Now we can see the geometry nodes use both instances on every point, and to change this we have to select here separate children and pick instance. Now we can see that's a little bit more randomized here. Let's go ahead and change here the position for the grass, because as you can see it's a little bit off here. We can put this a little bit with a transform, but I want to use another technique, so we can go here back to our grass. Let's see. And when we are looking here in front of this, we have to put this a little bit up. So let's go here into the edit mode and select the first grass. Now let's put the grass to the position where it should grow out of the ground. So let's put this up here by pressing G and Z. Maybe do something like this, and let's do the same thing with the grass too. Let's go to edit mode, select everything G and Z, maybe something like this. Okay, that's looking good. Let's enable back here our geometry nodes. Now we can see that looks much better here now. Yeah, to get a little bit more randomness, we need a random value. let's put this one here. First, let's change it to vector, and let's put this one here to rotation. And I want to change this here to the 0.9 and the max to 0.1, 0 and 6.7. And let's go ahead here now with a second random value, and let's duplicate this one, but I want to change this to float, and let's put this here into the scale. Now we can go ahead and change the min to 0.2 and the max to 0.6. Now we want to duplicate the whole stuff to make even more grass. So we need to put this here into the geometry here into the mesh. And let's search here for a join geometry. Put this one here together. We want to change a little bit the settings, and first of all let's change here the seed because we don't want to have this on the same place. So let's go with a 34, and I want to change the random value to the first random value to 0 by minus 0.3, maximum minus 1, 0, and let's leave it by 6.7, and let's go with a random value, with a second random value to 0.5 in the max. And now we have to increase all the stuff here, but when we are going to do this, we can see that even some planes will have a lot of performance, or need a lot of performance. As you can see, it's already a little bit lacking here. And yeah, to get rid of this stuff, we can go ahead here and go into the edit mode, or maybe let's hide here now the geometry nodes for now. Let's hide our landscape and let's go into the edit mode here. What we want to do now is we want to cut off here some points, because we don't see all the grass which is here on the plane. We only need here a small amount of the whole stuff. So let's see, maybe let's select here kind of this here, and now we can go ahead and press Ctrl I, X, and yeah, faces. And now we have only a small amount of points here. And when we are enabling back here now our geometry nodes, that's a little bit better here. To see what our final view will be, let's change here the camera now. Let's go here into the camera view, and I want to change this to minus 0.3, minus 4, 1.5. Let's go here with 91, 0 and 0. So let's go into the settings here, and I want to change the camera focal length to 35, sorry. And as we can see, we have here a little grayish landscape, and to change this we can go into the shading, make a new material, which will be grass floor, and we want to use here a texture setup from MNCG, which will be here the ground. Let's select the normal color, roughness, occlusion. We have to do this separately, so let's import this. Let's see, we have to duplicate this one. Let's select here the occlusion, and now we have to search for a mix RGB. Put this one here inside, multiply, and the factor should be 1. Okay, and yeah, the whole landscape looks a little bit weird. We have to change now the texture coordinates, so let's go here and change this one from UV to generated, and we want to change the scale down or up to 4x4. Oh, that looks a little bit better. Okay, and now we can bring in our tree. So let's select here the tree. Let's go here back to the layout mode, tree, and we want to bring in here this one as an instance to scene. Okay, now let's select here our tree, and we want to bring this to a new position, and I want to go with minus 2.3, 6.8 and 0.6. Let's leave the rotation like it is. Let's go ahead with a second tree. So let's duplicate this one. I want to push this back to 8.3 by 20.9 by 0.6 is okay. And let's rotate this one in the Z value to minus 206. And we can see that our tree is a little bit glossy here right now. So we have to fix this. Let's select here our Beech Tree. And let's select the leaves, and we have to go into the shading. And as we can see, everything is connected, but I want to turn down the specular. Maybe it's a little bit too much. That's okay for the scene here. Okay, let's go back to the layout mode and let's hide the tree now. The last mesh which we need is the dead tree. So let's instance to scene. Bring this one in here, and maybe let's go here with minus 1.3 by 2.2 by 0.7, and I want to rotate this in the Y to minus 50 and the Z to 63. Let's get started with some lighting. We need just one light for the scene and an HDRI. Yeah, let's start here with an HDRI. Maybe let's go now into the rendered view of Eevee, and yeah, we can enable all our basic stuff: ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflection. We can do this really quick with my new quick render settings when you're enabling here AO, bloom, and screen space reflections. For today, I don't want to use bloom because I thought that's a little bit too much. So let's disable the bloom here, and yeah, let's use here the Easy HDRI plugin and select your favorite folder with your HDRIs, and let's create the world nodes. And we want to use here this Clara 1 Dawn, and I want to bring a little bit down the sky strength to 2.5 and rotate this in the Z value to 200, so we have here the sun in the back. And now it's time to bring or use here our light. So maybe let's put this down, and I want to change this to a sun. And we want to use here this hex code for the sun color. And yeah, let's make here some changes. We want to use a strength of 25, and the angle should be 0. We want to use contact shadows, and let's go here and change the rotation. We want to go with the rotation in X to 78.9 by 16.4 by 211. That is our final sunlight here. And now we can go ahead and bring in some fog to create some depth here. So let's bring in here the new cube. Yeah, let's change the dimension of the cube. So let's go with 25 by 40 by 20. Let's change the Y to 19. Yeah, now let's go ahead and create a new material for our fog cube, which will be fog. Let's delete the principal BSDF by pressing X, and we have to search for a volumetric scatter. Bring this one into the volume. We want to turn this down a little bit in the grayish to a grayish value. I want to change the density to 0.1, and let's go in the anisotropy to minus 0.4. Okay, when we are now going here into the rendered view, we can see, or let's go to the layout mode, we can see that we have here some beautiful fog going on with some beautiful rays as well. Now let's go into the color management to create a little bit more of contrast. So I want to leave this today in the look, but we can change here now the exposure to 1.5, bring down the gamma to 0.5 to get a good high-res result. We can go into the shadows, enable high bit shadows. We are using the sun, then only the cascade size is important for us. The cube size is only for normal lights. So we can increase here this shadow, and we can go into the volumetric, enable here the volumetric shadows. So we have a little bit more shadows here going on in the back, and increase here the tile size if we want to, and the sampled as well, but that's up to you. You can change this by yourself, or you can use my quick render settings plugin, and if you want to, you can change it into a render view, so you get really high results for Eevee, or you can change the down to work mode. You can make your changes in your scene, go back in, check render mode, and you change all the Eevee settings back to your high-res settings, and then you can render your scene. That was this tutorial. If you want to see more stuff like this, check out and follow my channel. If you want to support me, check out my Gumroad or Blender Market page. See you there, and bye.